It's Zenzi. What an anniversary. 1,777 days. The Taj Mahal of homelessness. 1999 Isuzu Trooper. How come my vehicle still works? Y'all don't have no 27-year-old vehicles that you lived in 1,777 days. And there's Zenzi. Here's the deal. I've made many income streams, but right now I'm trying to take the baton from the monks who marched to DC, stirring up emotions and feelings and potentials. We can't just sit around talking about how much things touched us. We actually need to take action. Here's how we do it. Number one, what I'm trying to do from homeless to the heights of the Himalayas. It is to present to His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, this book, The Universe in a Single Atom. This is precisely, unbeknownst to me, how the philosophical hypothesis of bioelectromagnetism solves consciousness by sorting the hard problem of consciousness into an easy pivot and produces quantum physiology. Couple things about all the guys getting all the book deals talking about consciousness, and we'll stick with Daniel Dennett and Robert Sapolsky because Sapolsky mentions Dennett. Dennett probably would have it as in for Sapolsky as Sapolsky has it. And Sapolsky and I do not agree with Daniel Dennett. A number of things. Sapolsky can't reach out to me. So determined. Neuroendocrinologist, primatologist honorary, at least in my book, asserts there's no free will. This man has achieved an awful lot. Stand up to China, the only superpower left in the world. I got some ideas about standing up to China myself. Asking the kids, and I'm thinking Jane Goodall, so sorry we lost her, but both His Holiness and Jane Goodall, and we've also lost Archbishop Desmond Tutu. One of my Santa Cruz neighbors on the other side of the bay has written books with all of them. I could take the baton there. But my as the monks march to DC, I want to change the language. I want to teach the world to think in perfect harmony. So it's a quest to present my poetic theory of all life on Earth, which unifies all life as having consciousness. It's very important that we get this all clear, that we understand that our human lives are directly entangled with everything, all the insects, all the algae, all the everything. Installing a species level global hive mind of life-centric thinking, my proprietary brand, the philosophical method, produced for minds alive today. Across every nook and cranny of Earth, this belongs to all 8 billion of us. And I have never abdicated my responsibility to do what it takes, using all of the information and data and concepts of chaos theory, which says tiny little changes in the beginning state. If I had brought this in any way, shape, or form to a profit-generating organization, if I had went to people who I didn't know, people who would alter the process, people who would not understand. Altered states of consciousness are human birthrights, and that they've basically evaporated from how we experience life. This is a real problem. All we need to do, get me from homeless to the heights in the Himalayas, present my poetic theory of life on Earth based on the philosophical hypothesis of bio-electromagnetism. We start with E equals MC squared, y'all. This is as philosophy of science, high-level thinking as you're going to get through the lens of somebody who's establishing rapport with the zeitgeist. Hashtag breaking brilliant. Whereas those men made meth, this woman wakes wisdom. Becoming a globally known griot, Carnegie Mellon degreed philosopher. I'm making this thing up. I'm not pulling out a term. I am a degreed philosopher. Proverbial steelworker's daughter, working class human, had to get a job software consulting with any number of top tier technology companies. Sybase, PeopleSoft, Expedia, and lastly, Genentech, Biotech. I'm thinking about all these things for quite some time. Philosopher of physiology, having developed not just life-centric thinking, but also quantum physiology. Using what every bit of Robert Sapolsky's arguments indeterminate, I agree with, just not his conclusion. There's certainly free will. But how it works is integrated in how our brains work that nobody's quite seeing, and I don't have the book here. And it's 2000 Nobel Prize winner Eric Kondel's book, In Search of Memory. Neuroscientists don't know where memory is, nor do they know or will even acknowledge where's the subconscious. It's the body. National Institutes of Health lab chief Candace Pert discovered the opioid receptor. She said it. The subconscious is the body. That our culture, our society, Cartesian split, mind, body, even leading like, say, Bruce Lipton, Biology of Belief. He still, the last I heard, was saying the subconscious is a black box. Knowing he mentioned some of the tapping. No, it works. And it works. And it's not just the limited stuff that they've developed. It freeform. That's what we're all missing. We're so regimented. We're so categorization based. We're so everything based. I think it's really needed to complete the circuits of the Buddhist monks marching to Washington and the secular, wise, feminine philosopher taking a harmony quest to present a theory of consciousness that is no more complex than, first, do no harm to any molecule of life. What if we start saying that to each other? What if we start talking about that? What if we start taking action with one little thought, life-centric thinking? Don't harm life to get more stuff, to keep any stuff that you have. Don't build machines that are so overwhelmingly I have been assaulted all day long. Street sweeping machines. Then the sewage people show up. Not once, not twice, 3 times so far. But last night, I throwing a temper tantrum. I get to it. I'm trying to do this project, Homeless to the Heights of the Himalayas. In walks a Tibetan Lama. Perfect timing! It's as if what I say, even when people hear it, they don't believe me. They don't understand. I have been training twice a week, without fail, with said Tibetan Lama. So while my distress was hit one person, not quite the other. Don't mess with the Zenzi. But I'm holding back. Getting all this in person. I've been really harmed. The adults alive in the U.S. of hypocrisy. Who's not taking responsibility? All over the place. The amount of times I'm saying, you are harming me. My life is at stake. Just doing my job, ma'am. Can't do it quieter. Can't do it somewhere else. Can't give me time to drive away. No, just block me in. And make me experience the earth vibrating, overpowered machinery. 6 inches. They could have took my arm off if I'd have needed to stretch. The people that I ask, please let me be somewhere. Please let this. I'm dying of sleep deprivation, malnutrition, and starvation. And I've said those words now over the past 5 months, so many times, 100 times. So yeah, Trojan giraffe of whiteness. Trojan giraffe of the whiteness thought tradition. I liked it. I need to, for quite some time, be able to say Western scratch whiteness thought tradition. Trojan giraffe. I have metamorphosized in my 50s from a polar bear, 50 years of morbid obesity. Not once. Did it again when y'all poisoned me from the food bank food that does not. How does soy protein isolate ever get put in a can of tuna? And no wonder no one else ate it. And in the worst parts of my life, I'm expected to eat food that is morally unsound. And yet, somehow I'm staying alive just because of the salty air. Bioelectromagnetism, it's for real. And, I can explain everything from why we thought the first burst of bioelectrical stuff to happen turn of the 19th century. Nikola Tesla, didn't really, he and Einstein didn't really understand biology. But coming at it from the consciousness level, you couldn't. There are ways to surmount everything, but not at the same time. That's my dilemma. Harmony, this has been Zenzi, documenting incredible strength, worth investing in. Where I am racing Elon to $1 trillion. He may have quite a bit of head start. But if the people would listen to me, making the money for the greatest global good, wanting to establish a civilization that does not exclude the vast global majority, I do not understand how that's not being listened to. But there is a process here. I do concentric thinking, not linear thinking. And centric thinking, that's going to up your mental fitness quite a great deal. To understand it all, it comes down to emptiness and impermanence. Well, what the Western people call it, uncertainty and incompleteness, Gödel. Y'all know Heisenberg, hashtag breaking brilliant. Whereas those men made meth, this one wakes wisdom. I don't know when it shouts, Mama says knock you out. Don't call it a comeback. I'm fresh princed from scratch. Enter Cation Empire is breaking brilliant. There are feature films, documentaries, one woman, global phenomena. Here's how humanity works. And the whole thing that I can't also get is you become vibrantly alive. You start to understand bioelectromagnetism and altered states of consciousness. Really the same thing. And it's embodied bliss. And the sciences of embodied cognition. Whew, it's all so very, very good. Here's my cohort, co-partner. Got to get out the car. Harmony, it's been Zenzi.